Good evening, I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thanks for joining us. Authorities are searching right now for an inmate who escaped from a correctional facility just north of Duluth.
He walked away from NERCC, which is a correctional work farm. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Office said staff at the Northeast Regional Corrections Center reported inmate Michael Hart escaped custody from the facility Tuesday evening and appears to be on the run.
And Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson is in that area northwest of Duluth near Saginaw and Independence. Sounds like a very active scene right now near you, Kyrie.
Yeah, Dan and Laura, there are multiple search crews out here with canines and drones behind me. This is Highway 8, County Highway 8 in Independence, which is about 6 miles from the facility that Hart escaped from. Law enforcement has not seen Hart recently, but they are actively searching the woods here, and an officer told me he could be very close. He was last confirmed spotted at about noon today. Now, Division Commander Wade Ratch says Hart escaped during what he calls the appropriate movement of other NERCC inmates. Search efforts began immediately after late last night. This morning, 2 known female associates of Hart were found parked on a dead-end road in the Independence area. They were presumed to be there to pick up Hart and transport him. At about noon, Hart was spotted near Beaver Lake Road, which is south of County Highway 8. A canine team has been out tracking that area, and the Minnesota State Patrol has been called in to help. Rash saying the local community should be on high alert.
When you have a situation like this, he's clearly not wanting to be found. He also wants to get out of the area. So we're asking people to lock up their vehicles, ATVs, things of that nature, because he'll be looking for some form of transport.
Rash says an escape like this generally happens about once a year, but with Hart having an extensive criminal history on the Iron Range prior to this incident, including first-degree burglary, his sentence will likely be extended once he is apprehended. Additionally, Hart will have to serve time in a county jail or a prison setting outside of NERCC. Now, authorities are asking anyone with information about Hart's whereabouts to call 911 immediately. Obviously, this is a very ongoing investigation, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Live in Independence, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.
All right, and if we get any more updates on the search, if it reaches its conclusion, we'll head back out to Kyrie for another live report. Now, we did reach out to Southridge School because of how close it is to that search area. The superintendent says while they were notified about the situation, they were advised the sheriff's office told them they did not have to change protocol for the day.